This is Let's Talk Teens, a parenting podcast sharing tips on raising amazing teenagers. We are both certified life coaches that have worked with teenagers as coaches, mentors, and teachers. We are sharing what we have found to work best when dealing with teens and tough issues.
This is Abbi and Cheree. Let's Talk Teens, episode 18, phrases to adopt as a family.
So, when I think back to my childhood of living at my parents' home and all of us kids together, I've got four siblings, five of us all together. I remember that every year around the new year, we would not only set goals, but we would come up for a theme for that year. And it was really fun. And some of our past themes were like, this is the year, go big or go home. Your name is safe with us, right? And we
So
just would
fun.
have this theme that would guide us. And I've been thinking a lot about that because as a family, I think our families naturally have themes and phrases that we tend to say, but I'm not sure if all of those are intentional. And so hopefully, after listening to this episode, you and your spouse or your partner can go and decide what are some intentional phrases we want to adopt as a family. And I have a couple written down, and I would love to hear ones that you have, Cheree. But I just think phrases like either borrow this, use this, make it your own, but these are phrases that have mental health benefits for your children. Now, the first is this phrase that goes, there's nothing we can't solve as a family. I've actually talked about this before in past episodes that when our teen comes to us with problems, we never want to act as if those problems are bigger than something we can handle. And so, this idea, this phrase of, hey, there's nothing we can't solve as a family, I hope that that becomes regular language in your in your home. Um, I'll never forget, I was like driving to the mall with my mom, and I can't even remember what we were talking about, but I think we'd seen like a crazy TV show where this character and his girlfriend had a baby in high school. And I remember saying to my mom, that would just be the end of the world. Like that was probably like the worst thing. Like my life would just be over. And I remember her turning to me and going, Abbi, we would figure that out. It would not be the end of the world, and we could solve that as a family. And in my like, I was probably like 12-year-old brain, I was like, whoa, my mom is not faced by that. Like, and not in a like, wow, now I got permission to go do that, but just say, wow, okay, yeah, we would really figure this out as a family. So I hope that your family can adopt that phrase of there's nothing we can't solve or figure out as a family.
I love it so much. So good.
Now, the next one that I was thinking of is this phrase that I hope parents use, right, as a tool for you, and that is tell me more about dot, 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 right? So I like to use this phrase when either something surprises me, right, and kind of hits me cold and I need to like gather my thoughts about it, or if I genuinely am trying to listen better. I don't know about you, Cheree. I'm always trying to be a better listener. And so I love this phrase of saying, oh, tell me more about that. Tell me more about when you hung out with your friends, or tell me more about why you were late for curfew. It just gives me space as a mom to either cool down or process information, but it also invites my teen to feel like they're adulting and to feel like they have a say, that I care about their opinion, and that I really am listening.
Thank you for saying that. I think that I needed that reminder to even talk to my young adult children that way. And my husband, tell me more instead of just jumping into my thoughts and opinions on everything. So good. I love that one.
And then another one, and I'm stealing this blatantly from one of our family themes, was your name is safe in our home. And I'll never forget my mom. We didn't have family home evening very often. We tried our very best, but I do remember one of our very few but very formal family home evenings. My mom read us a talk that they talked about that your name should be safe in your home, that people speak kindly about you in home. Nobody's like, none of your siblings are going and talking crap on you to their friends, right? That this was a safe space. And I just love that idea. I constantly am trying to remember that as a mom. Like, I want my home to feel like a safe space. And so I constantly think, like, is my spouse's name safe in my home? is my child's name safe in my home? Like, is this a place where we don't talk crap on each other, that we are kind and that we keep each other's secrets, right? And
Mm,
that we aren't just sharing anything about each other because we tend to hurt the ones we love the most, right? Because we have more ammo, we have more ammunition.
that one's so good too. I love it. These are some fun ones.
Um, I also think we should adopt phrases such as like Winslow's look out for each other or the Murdocks, we are honest people, right? Like, so fill in the blank of what's of value for your family, but making it a part. I love like using your last name and saying, oh, Winslows aren't quitters, right? That's a pretty common one you'll hear. But what could you guys decide as a family to use as a phrase that really empowers a family value that you care about? And then I also think, and you have to know this one's coming, a phrase that you need to adopt as a family is I love you. We all grow up with different love language, different family of origin patterns and habits, but please, if you grow up in a home that didn't say I love you often, frequently, and freely, that is something that I want to invite you to start because the research about the benefits to the mental health of your children, of your spouse, like it's huge. And so even if that feels so uncomfortable for you, even if you like to save I love you for very special occasions, like let's change that. Let's make that a phrase in our home that we say I love you and that nobody has to guess or imply because we say it.
Mm, so important. I love that. Feeling loved, being loved and loving is a basic need of every human. So to say it is very important. So good.
Yeah. I have a tendency if I have a shirt that I love or it's new or I bought some perfume that I'm just crazy about or it costs me a lot of money, I have a tendency to save that and go, "Oh, I'm going to wear this on a very special occasion because it's so special to me, because I don't want to ruin it, because fill in the blank." And I just think that has not served me in my life. Instead, I will look at that shirt in the back of my closet and go, I never wore this because it was so special to me, right? And it
Mm.
has the opposite effect. So I want to be sure that we realize I love you should not be saved for special occasions. It needs to be something we share readily in our family. And then last, a phrase to adopt in your family is compliments. The research and science behind compliments is just astounding that we as human beings, we thrive on compliments. It can really fortify and build up those bonding, wonderful feelings in our family. And that's because our brain will literally release chemicals when we get a compliment that we believe in was sincere. And so let's make complimenting a part of our family pattern.
Oh, for sure. It makes me think of a time when we had a neighbor that would come over and say the kindest compliments to our family. And it motivated us to not only want to live up to how he saw us, but to be even better. Because that's what compliments do. They motivate us to become better. As you're talking, I was thinking of some of the phrases I grew up with. My dad has some good ones that he would say all the time, like, we never, never give up, or we do hard things, just different things that we heard a lot. And sometimes our kids will kind of joke about my phrases, especially a little bit with Mark's, but more mine. They'll be like, oh, yeah, mom always says you can only change yourself, or, um, every mess turns into a masterpiece. That's when I say a lot too, is our biggest messes can turn into a masterpiece. But there's just all these phrases, but I want my kids to, even though they might joke about it or tease about it, I want those phrases to be empowering to them, that they'll remember them, and it will always be playing in their back of their mind. Like I did it growing up, we do hard things. It's always helped me think, okay, when things are hard, I know how to do that because my parents said that over and over again. So I love these ideas of having phrases to adopt as a family that you say a lot and being intentional about them.
Yeah, and I think that intentionality is what can make you feel powerful as a mom because I know that as my kids get older and as we engage like with our teenage sons and daughters, that we can feel a little bit powerless, like that our influence is diminished and that we really can't control what they say or do, right? Like it feels like they're slipping out of our hands. So I love something that I can go, no, like I control the phrases and the ideas of my home, and I want to be intentional about it. So hopefully one of these, struck a chord that you thought, okay, I want to try that, or even better yet, like inspired you on one that can be spun into your own family little motto. So, Cheree and I hope that
Good.
this helps you out. Now, our next episode is about helping your teen become their best self. So, be sure that you tune into that episode. Thank you for listening to Let's Talk Teens with Cheree Murdock and Abbi Winslow. If you are looking for more tips to help your teenager, here's where you can find us. You can find Cheree Murdock on Instagram at Cheree Murdock Coaching or on her website, ChereeMurdock.com. You can find me, Abbi, on Instagram as Abbi Winslow or on my website, AbbiWinslow.com. Please rate and review our podcast and share with a fellow parent. Thanks for listening.